TDS copied TDS copied Demo Man from Tower like in every tower in the game. Copy. God, they dropped their tank up the
Enough! Tower Defense Simulator is copying Tower Defense X.
Fine. 7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare
to play with you.
Copy. To make a similar or identical version of, reproduce, / imitate the style or behavior of. And by that definition, Tower Defense Simulator undoubtedly copied tower battles, whether that be from the enemies, towers, or even wave layout. TDS took damn near everything. It doesn't take a genius to decipher this predicament, and what's more, the actual undeniable numbers showed TDS booming in popularity while Tower Battles gets left in the dust. And for what? Just because some snobby kid recited the same jokes as you but slightly louder, getting the applause from everyone else while you sit there in shame. Or when someone takes your hard thought out rightful idea and reaping the rewards all for themselves. How could you not be upset? TDS's actions are indisputably immoral and should honestly be punishable. I mean, come on. Scout, Sniper, Devilman, Farm, Rocketeer, Mortar, Pyro, Mini Gunner, Commander, DJ, Ace, the list goes on and on and on. And don't get me started with TDX. You would think after milking tower battles for all these years, they'd learn their lesson and go down a more original and honorable path. But no. The Armor Factory, Mercenary Base, Consumables, Intermediate Mode, and just out of nowhere, they just decide to add timescale tickets. Coincidence?
I think not.
However, is this whole debacle necessarily a bad thing? Of course, nobody likes it when someone steals your hard work and plashes it around like they came up with the idea themselves. But is it possible for there to be some good in copying? Allow me to provide a different perspective, an alternative angle if you will. From the simple black and white answers, you may know as they copied or they didn't copy. I want you to look at all these different Roblox tower defense games, where you might see a cesspool of greedy creators copying and stealing ideas from each other, which to a certain extent is true. What I see are people inspired by each other and by Tower Defense Simulator. People taking what TDS made and making something new out of it. I sincerely believe, without TDS's intuition to take the pieces Tower Battles left behind, modernizing and expanding upon, they would have never been able to inspire the other great creators to do the same, missing out on the massive variety of games we have today. It is irrefutable that TDS blatantly copied ideas from other games to build their own, sitting atop countless bodies that is their massive empire. But I think in doing so, they also created a beautiful community that is the Roblox Tower Defense niche. And it could be argued that Tower Battles is the grandfather of all Roblox Tower Defense games, which, yeah, without Tower Battles, TDS would have never been created. But on that same note, without TDS, I believe that the creation of modernized tower defense games would cease to exist. They are both two sides of the same coin.
But TDS copied the Armored Factory from TDX. Can't you see?
Here I am, offering you my precious time, and you waste it
by running around. Oh, playtime is over.
Haven't you thought about how the similarities from TDS and TDX could be beneficial to both parties? You are so caught up with the notion of originality that it has clouded your judgment. You spent your whole life forming opinions based on what you see through a keyhole. You think everything is as simple as yes and no, that there are only two solutions. Sure, it causes drama between the two giants, but it also brings in massive attention to both games. Sure, they have very similar ideas, but they're executed differently. It's like drinking Pepsi and Coke. Although they're both colas, it's obvious to tell which is which and can even crave one over the other. You get vastly different experiences from what is seemingly the same concept. Exactly how two people can perceive the same memory differently. You may view the opening of a brand new Jack-in-the-Box near your neighborhood negatively, since it's something you aren't used to, while others may view it positively, since they're given the opportunity to try something new. It's all based on perspective. Take the barracks and mercenary base for instance. The barracks and TDX are fairly simple. Certain upgrades grant you different units that spawn automatically, while the TDS mercenary base on the other hand also has various different units it can spawn, but are actually more valuable and even act like their own tower in some cases. This is without mentioning its ability that spawns those units anywhere on the track, meaning it's a bit more complicated than the barracks. A concept as basic as the tower spawner can be explored differently in the most sophisticated ways. On the surface, the whole argument of whether TDS copied other games like Tower Battles and TDX could be answered as simply as saying yes, they indeed copied tower designs and wave layouts. But once you go deeper and see the results of TDS's actions, it would be ridiculous not to sympathize. That maybe there is some good in copying, that positive outcomes are possible in these trying times. So please, if you've learned anything from this video, all I ask is that you enter debates and arguments with open minds, that there are more than two choices to pick from, that it isn't always as straightforward as they copied or didn't copy. Thanks for watching. Oh, what's that? It sounds like we have extra time. Oh my god, okay. Does TDS have more children active than TDS? While it may seem that way, super childish marketing and visuals, there's absolutely no proof saying that TDS in fact have more children playing. Although true that TDS seem like they're pandering toward demographics. The same thing goes for TDS. Using funk/metal as their main OST genre, which happens to be latest hits with the kids nowadays. Absolutely nothing that TDS isn't also trying to hit a similar childlike graphic. So in conclusion, there are several ways to market towards the specific because it seems like one has more